Gents,
It's all happening.
if I told you two years ago that the Springboks are going to win a World Cup final, what would your reaction be?
I would have given you whatever you asked for. it's virtually, it's not impossible because it's just happened, but it's unrealistic to have expected anyone to come in and turn its side around in 2 years, especially with our defensive setup, which is quite unique. So that's the one thing. The other thing is looking at where we've been for the last 10 years and how bad we were just before Rassie and Co took over. It's actually quite remarkable. So
just
I think
put it out there, it's under 2 years.
Just under, yeah. Mm. So if I think if you promised me a semi-final, I would have taken it.
Yeah,
like
100%.
It's incredible.
Third, fourth place game, I would have been happy with that. A year and a half ago.
Because we're like, guys, I was like, you just don't even look at the World Cup. Let's start prepping now for the 2021 Lions Tour. Yeah. If we prep for the 2021 Lions Tour and we're ready for that, the next World Cup will take care of itself. Yeah. So I was like, just forget about 2019. We just got to suck it up and we've just got to do the best we can.
Apparently the best we can is not too bad.
No, it's not horrible at all.
No.
So talk us through the two semi-finals. First, obviously a bit of a shock. In my mind, it was a bit of a shock with England beating New Zealand.
I expected a closer game. I thought it was going to be really tight, but I thought it was going to be bloody good rugby, and it was bloody good rugby. Just the one team pitched up way more than the other team, and I think England deserved to go through. There's nothing. I don't think there's really much people can. There's nothing to complain about. There's nothing to really highlight. The fact that
one team was better than the other.
They blew the All Blacks away, and I think this whole week, if you look at the press, especially New Zealand press and everything, they've gone hard at them, and you expect New Zealand press to go hard on the All Blacks, but I think also many of them just came out and said we got blown away, and England were amazing. Like, I know Gatlin had a dig at Eddie by saying could have played the final already, but that was almost the final. That was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And yes, the other semi-final, if you do look at it, was probably shit compared to the first one. But who cares? It's semi-final rugby.
Yeah. I think no one has played this England side before this World Cup. So not even the England weren't playing like this with these tactics, these players, stuff like this. They weren't playing like this during the Six Nations.
No.
And they weren't kind of playing like this in the warm-ups. Like, they literally started playing their game and players started pitching up, and everything just came together for the World Cup, which is, if Eddie Jones can bottle this, he'll make like billions, because they have been the most perfect. Like, it's difficult to say like you wanted them to be informed the way they were, so you kind of want to say, listen, that's quite lucky. There's a lot of prep that's gone in and they kind of work together, but it's difficult with the way Eddie Jones is and John Mitchell is. Like, they're very methodical. They know what they want and how they want it. That's why they're so abrasive. Like, people don't like it. Like John Mitchell and Jake White and those guys, they want you at training at 8 o'clock, and it's a different scenario. They see things differently. So, like, the way that this whole thing has come through, like, you can't help but look at Eddie Jones and go, like, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head. And it is a final, and if they go on and win it, or whoever goes on and win it, well done. But they still made the final. They still, like, whoever doesn't win on Saturday still made the final and was into the shout. And like, the bonus that we have is England haven't played us either.
No. It's a very different side to when they beat us in Twickenham.
Yeah. The last 3 games has been 2-1. The last the third last and the second last game, England shot off to a lead. Sorry, I lie. England won the second last game. The third last game is they struggled to lead and then they fell away. Yeah. And then we beat them, and then that game at Newlands, where it was terrible conditions and we tried to play a lot of running rugby, they beat us. And then obviously Twickenham is Twickenham. You know, it was a much tighter game. So I think they might have had more of a look at us than we've had at them. But I think it's incredible the way that they pitched up, and I've never in my life seen a side due to New Zealand what they've been doing to everyone else. They literally made them look like they don't know this game. Like, you don't know this game. We're going to show you how to play this game. And New Zealand have done that to everyone, and at least once or twice. They've done it to us. They've done it to all sorts. Like, and even tight games that we've won, like, it was still a game. This wasn't a game.
Yeah.
England were like, we're here to do a job. Sorry, buddy.
But it's funny because we spoke about it previously also, how England, especially in the group stages, did nothing flashy, just did their job, just going through the motions.
They never
like
went
you
out
said.
second gear.
And now when it matters, they're going.
I think if you even look at that, the English side, and like I say, we haven't really played this. Well, no one's really played this English side, but
New Zealand, I haven't asked them about it.
I look at even what Rassie said before the Wales game. We played Wales 4 times, I think, but he's never been able to pick this squad every single time he's played Wales because it was an international break, it was this, it was that. He never had access to everyone. And if you think about it, that was pretty much the same tour as we played England in that Twickenham game. Certain people weren't available in that game. We had a different midfield, we had, things were slightly different in all ways and things. So I also do feel that we are going to see 2 teams that haven't really played each other now. And I also do feel that we're also going to see, I do feel that England probably have had more of a look at us. But I also feel that they've shown a lot of cards as well in that New Zealand game. And just the way Rassie is and, his coaching staff is, they also don't leave any page unturned. They would have had a deep look at it. And
I think Eddie Jones and them are the same. So I think this is like
100%.
the most researched sort of rugby game in the world, probably.
It's
from
2
the coaches.
coaches that love.
If you look,
they love preparation. And I actually saw a tweet. Don't know, someone put it out there, but I know it's a quote from Bevan Fontaine saying that, like, he's never ever. If you know Rassie Erasmus, and obviously he played with Rassie and that, as a player, and he says if you know Rassie as a coach and that, he will not sleep this week. He doesn't sleep for games like this. I don't think there'll be any situation that will go past him that he hasn't probably seen on film. And I think Eddie Jones would have had the exact same thing. He knows Rassie will play the game where, we're not going to change anything, and Rassie's already said we play to our strength, whatever. But he also has to remember, and he knows Rassie's like that. He could play it. There could be a joker coming out somewhere, and you have to be prepared for something like that as well. And I think Eddie doesn't want that Italy situation to happen again, where something by the letter of the law was used and seen it different. Even though that wasn't Rassie who did it.
I don't think either coach will be gambling too much on anything. I think there'll be 1 or 2 different strike moves. But it'll be a case of we're going to give it a go, and if we get a line break or something, then we need to capitalize, because once that's done, it's done. It can never ever be used again. So that's one of those is going to happen. But I think we're in for an incredible game. I think England have options. They've got a few options that they can use, and I think Rassie's gonna look at that. I think we've very much settled. I don't think we're making any change except for Colby.
I think.
Well, Rassie's basically been saying he's not changing anything, whether it be men or game plan. So. And on Colby, is he starting?
He's fit, and if he's fit, he'll start.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. Something I want to discuss is if Colby starts, how fit is he? Because we won't know. Like, no one will know. Like, they'll say that he's fit.
It's been a week or 2 basically.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, are we going to still go with a 6-2 split if Colby is marginal? Because if he's marginal, I think we'll go for a 5-3. I don't see a 6-2 if Colby can't go the whole game.
I honestly think if we really, really, really needed to, and if depth on the wings was a big issue of us, we would have seen Colby play on Sunday against Wales. We would have risked him. But I think because we did that risk against Japan, and he picked up another twist on the ankle, and you could clearly see it wasn't quite the Colby. He never had a bad game, but it wasn't quite the Colby we saw in the previous games. We were like, we've got a guy in the squad who can play 14. Why go through that? And I've got a feeling if we really needed him to play on Sunday, he would have played on Sunday. I think that was just a bit of also a gambled or calculated risk or gamble.
Oh, it wasn't.
I think he'll be fit. I think he'll be full on raring to go.
And if he can only play a half a game, he still starts.
Yeah.
So like, then we have to go to a 5-3. So I just I'm looking forward to it. I just to go back to New Zealand and touch on them again. Like, obviously everyone is absolutely like shocked by what happened and they really were taken out. But I thought tactically we chatted about it a little bit, and I thought ironically having Scott Barrett start was quite a gamble. But then he went off at half time, and I thought that was, funny enough, was an error, because I know you wanted Todd to start and play. Kane to start and play, and then he came off the bench. But I really thought that when Barrett came off at half time, he came off just after half time. I thought it was actually a bit of an error, because he really was doing the business and doing it pretty well.
No, I agree. I just think that's in all teams, even in the Springboks side. There's some players can come off the bench and do a job, and there's others that just start better. Then I think Kane would have started. I don't think he's the type of guy that comes off the bench and brings the same energy as when he starts a game, and that's okay, because we've seen players like that in our own team do it as well. They're better. Let them go on. Let them start the game. Let them play 40 minutes, and then plug them rather than coming off and being the impact. I think Barrett as an impact player would have been huge. Even I really think he would have been.
I think they wanted him there also for that line-out option.
Yeah.
Which we have a truckload of. We don't have to move anyone around for that. So.
But that's nice. I look at our squad now, and if we go back to us, I mean, when last have we been so settled, even on the bench? That bench is so settled. It's so settled.
We spoke about that even before the World Cup, with the amount of quality that didn't even make the bench. Back in South Africa.
Yeah, you look at the Lucy's we left behind. I mean, they could have easily been.
Marcel and Elstad are still comfortably in the mix. I think Damien Willems very much so. I know he's joined the squad now. I think that's going to be I'd like to see what happens to him after the World Cup. I'm pretty sure we'll move him to 10.
I look at it like that. It's so difficult to say, but if I look at the two benches between England and South Africa, it's really, if you had to say which bench is better, I look at it and I go, the English bench it's not bad at all, but do they bring that same impact as our bench has been? I think our bench has won us quite a few games so far. But the impact that they've brought on is just...
Always, but it's just a squad. I always like to talk about squads. Squads are so important for me, because you need to have a guy like Nkosi that can just come in. To be fair, he didn't have his best game, but his last few games he's been incredible. So he's on form, and he's just not playing because Colby's just that much better. But to have him come in is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. If he started on Saturday, it wouldn't be a problem.
No, it wouldn't be.
And that's the space where we need to be at, and guys are starting to see the value of that now.
If any of our props pulled out, you're not going to complain with any of that bench, Kitshoff or Thomas or whoever.
And Lizo Koboka is still going to be coming into the mix next year.
You look at if any of our locks get injured, so Archie comes in, Mostert comes in. You've got so much.
And it's. We really are, and I think we got a good space. I think, again, what Rassie said about Japan is when he focused on the 6-2 splits was he doesn't want the forwards to get tired. England do play quite a high pace and relatively expansive game. Is they try to force you into making errors where they've pulled you, and then you don't recover quick enough.
There's space on the outside for them to exploit.
And they have options. They have options when they run with the ball. They have plenty all the time. They really are. They are exceptionally well drilled, and they make fairly good decisions. They like to attack in a channel outside 10, so their ball carriers have got options to pass, and they've got another big guy coming through where we like to truck it up with one guy in that space.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very interesting. So like that leans me towards a 6-2, but I'm just a little hesitant. 6-2 leaves you with zero.
I think if
we can only do that if Colby's 100%.
Yeah, I think if he goes 6-2, that gives us indication that Colby's raring to go.
Yeah.
He's fully fit. He's fully fit then.
No, 6-2 makes me very nervous. I understand why having an extra forward on the bench for what way we want to play versus how opposition play towards us. I do understand that completely, but I've said it before, and like if you 6-2 works until it doesn't work, and then you don't do it again. Like, You only cock up once,
it's like
and then
playing back three in football.
Yeah, like you do it until someone's
you get
figured it
it
out.
Unless you lose
it's a numbers game.
You do it for a whole season.
It's a numbers game, and it will break. And then when it does break, like just make sure.
Go back to it.
Then you're like, okay, it's done now.
Yeah.
It's gone through.
We tried that. We got the
and it served us well. But
I just think, I look at the back as well. If you do go 5-3 split, I mean, there's also not really too much option that you bring. If you go 5-3 split, so what do you go? Damon Willemse as that third back, because he can cover so many positions. But then the next thing is that the experience. It's a final. How do you deal with that? That's different pressures, and do you throw that on a young kid's shoulders now? And I know everyone says if you're young enough and you're good enough, should be there and all that. But do you put a wing on the bench, an extra wing on the bench? It also creates now other sort of slight variables and interests there, because yes, Frans Steyn, we know in a 6-2 split he's on the bench because he can cover 4 positions straight out.
So this is my thing. Not on the 5-3, because please go ahead and answer the 5-3. But my thing on the 6-2, for me, 6-2, we need to have Reinach on the bench, and not Janchis. And the reason being is because Reinach can play on the wing, and he's quick. Yeah. And he's not terrible at 9 either. So that's that for me.
But he's also played pressure situations.
So that would be the other. That would be the one thing. And the other thing was on the 6-2, if you don't have Reinach, is in possibly not having Flo and have Kwacha, because he can play in a back position as well. But that doesn't suit our game plan and what we want and what we expect out of Francois Loh. So for me, if we're going to have a 6-2, I think Reinach is a very, very safe option because he can play on the wing comfortably.
Is that Faf can cover 10?
No. Then you'd put Reinach at 9 if you move him up to 10.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is that if something happens to
who?
To our fullback and our flower off.
No, you put Reinach there, and then you have a France there, and then that's like that. Those are the options.
Yeah.
I think
if something happens to both, then
the thing is that
that's our last game.
You're playing but you're playing ifs and buts. Like I said,
so who's your
5-3? I would not go 5-3. I would go 6-2.
No, I'm just saying. See how we're all buying into Rassie. We're just like, whatever you want, bro.
Whatever you say.
My only thing is that like 5-3 is that that third back becomes really interesting. It really becomes interesting. It's not so straightforward. Because some people say, well, then Nkosi moves onto Zen. Like onto the bench.
I tell you,
some people will throw that. Some people will go Geland.
Because Geland, I prefer not to see him at 15, but he played flipping well on the wing last game.
But I'm saying, and then some people go, yes, but you've got that X factor match winner in a Damien Willemse that can, spark something out of nothing, and then it becomes such a ifs, buts, and maybe situation that I think England are going to come flying at us. They've started but every game they start quick, and we're going to be having to deal with that, and it's going to be physical. They're quick and physical up front, and we're going to have to do. It's basically playing Japan in that first half where it's quick, physical. They're just not as big as the English. The English are just.
They know that we can come back and beat them. So we kind of have that all black I'm not talking All Black as
Not
a
that
team
aura,
but I'm talking about that All Black. Like if you
Don't
don't put them to bed, they will come back.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when the All Blacks scored on Saturday,
Yeah.
it was 20 minutes to play.
A lot of people.
It's not going to end well.
a lot of people were like,
So-
well, here's that last 20 minutes we always
Yeah.
talk about,
The
folks.
England needs to put the points on while they can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully,
And a lot of
It's
people,
enough.
a lot of Englishmen and like ex-players, especially ex-English players, talk about there's a dog in us that not a lot of other countries have in the game. We will dog games out. We'll make it ugly.
Especially where
we'll do
we've
what we
come from
do. We
in
do
the
what we
last
have to
2
do
years.
to win. They always say South African side will do what they have to do to win.
And it's a World Cup final. It's exactly that. It's exactly that. Like everyone's like you'd say, oh, it was boring.
No one's
Like
yeah.
a bro.
doesn't matter.
That's what I say. That, like people have been labeling our game against Wales. It's boring. It was terrible rugby.
It was
like,
test match
It was the
rugby.
game.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I go, okay.
This is coming.
And if we win the game, if we win the World Cup, is anyone gonna freaking remember that semi-final?
This is coming
No.
from guys.
Even if
who
it's a
played-
shit final, people won't. I mean, not a shit final, but a boring final. People aren't going to remember that.
And this is coming from countries that came out of Six Nations that only ever had the bonus points and still 2 years
2
ago.
years ago, yeah.
Like this was a non-starter for them. They're like, tries, don't need them.
This
It's
is also
cool, we'll kick.
This is also
Yeah.
from a country that won a World Cup as well. That wasn't for poor Johnny doing drop goals and things like that.
To be fair, it was 12 years ago.
But still, if it,
12
it's
years
still a country that relied on a 10 to let the whole team hop in the backpack and let the 10 kick you all the way to victory.
Look, I've always said, especially because I watch more football, I don't give a shit how you play. If you're getting 3 points every weekend, like when Jose Mourinho was at Chelsea, it was horrible football.
Yeah,
But he won
it's
us 2 titles in
it's
a row.
horrible at United as well.
Go to United, stop winning. Ooh, now it's becoming a problem. Because now you're playing shit football
And
and
you're
you're
not
not winning.
Yeah, well,
So
the
that's a
thing, yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
If you keep winning, I don't care.
But look
Look at Arsene Wenger. He's tried for how many years playing beautiful football. Hasn't gotten him that far.
But if you look at how many tries our outside backs have scored, so that would be Mapimpi, Gelant, Vili. I think he might have scored 1 or 2. Lukanya, Ches and Colby.
Yeah.
Like the guys have been scoring tries in the outside channel.
We have the most tries in the World Cup.
So
We scored the most tries in the World
yeah.
Cup.
So like we've done well. We lost our first lineout this weekend.
Yeah.
So before that we had 30 lineouts, I think,
Yeah,
one or
that's
something.
ridiculous.
Like it's insane. We've got a great pack. I think England are worried about our pack. I think they need to do absolutely everything in their
To
power
stop that scrum.
to stop anything that's got to do with our forwards, whether it's in the tight phases and tight sets up and the loose. Like they need to stop it. So they're going to have to double team our ball carriers. So like I think, and they have been doing it. But if we find a gap somewhere and get a quick ball, I think that's the key. We get 1 or 2 of those quickies coming through.
We've got to work the Teletubby on the prop side for them, Sinclair.
You want to murder him, man.
I'll murder. That's be the first guy I'd be like, that's the guy you go after.
And Peter Steph,
And you
Toy
work-
and
and-
Urban
and
must
Urban-
smash him in open play because he carries well.
And that's the thing. So, Scrum time, he's the one to target. And Peter Steph has done a magnificent job at ruck time. He slows opposition ball down like crazy. Crazy. And I think that's why a lot of teams have struggled to play from ruck time against us. They've also struggled to get things going at the back. It's because we've always got one. Peter Steph is, being that nuisance. He's tugging, he's pulling people in. He's always keeping you on the edge the whole time. And if we can get that going, I think we'll slow things down for England, and it won't be. We all know it's not their nature. It's not at the moment the way they're playing rugby. It's not in their game plan. So it's something that hasn't happened to them a lot. Someone slowing the ball down. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. If we can't get that right, I think we're in for a shitty morning, like a real shitty morning. If the scrum doesn't work, if the maul doesn't work, and if we don't slow the ruck, we don't slow play down at the ruck, we are going to be in for a
What's going to be
damn
our
long morning.
key weakness that could really cost us again?
Kicking.
our accuracy of our kicking.
Yeah.
So we are going to kick.
No, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the accuracy, but
Poles and not hand.
Where we need to be, Lucanio is absolutely imperative that it's absolutely imperative that him and Damien have a good game. Reason being is the quickness that we've got to get guys around and set up, because England, when they get that front foot ball, they strike. They've got options. And I think that both our midfield are in very, very good form. I think our outside backs have both started, both our wingers have started making pretty good decisions coming up.
Yeah.
I think we're really good in that space. But I think aside from the kicking, which I completely agree, like we got to make sure that it's accurate enough. Because if we are accurate enough and we kick on and we've got men up there to stop them, they have to kick out and then we reload. I think that's where we want to be. And I think that's where we've always wanted to be, but our execution has been good, so they've been able to run back and gain meters and kick back.
Yeah, we're allowed to get counted the whole time.
Yeah. But I think where England do really well is their quick ball on front foot and the options they have. So that we know that there's going to be one or two runners for South Africa that are going to be running. Where England there are 4 or 5 runners and they've got a couple of options. And Farrell, his execution, his passing forward, both of them, whether they're 10, 12 or and Ford's not, if it's Ford and Farrell, they're great options there. And I think if it's just Farrell at 10 and Ford's on the bench, whatever, they're going to decide. They've got really, really good options. So
I think our defense has been really good. Like, it's been phenomenal. That defensive effort on Sunday was just incredible to suck up so many phases. And I mean, there was, I think it was just before halftime when we had that period of just defending on our try line, and then it was after the 20th phase we started making dominant tackles. We started pushing Wales
them
back 5-6 meters after every second tackle. I mean, I think we got to get that energy. We got to have that game. We got to arrive at that game. That's really important. But it's been there the whole World Cup. We haven't really slacked on that too much. But I do feel Pollard is always a worry for me with goal kicks. I like what he gives us on ball in hand, things like that. But Farrell, when it comes down to kicking your points, Farrell beats him every day in that department. And that for me is the big worry. Like when I say kicks, I don't just mean the out of hand kicks, but taking your points when it comes. And I do feel England are better there. Where if it is Farrell and Ford, there's better kicking options there. They're already behind when it comes to taking 3 points. So I think that's going to be huge for us, is being able to take our points. If we don't take our points, we are going to be in big trouble.
I think what Pollard has given us in terms of kicking for poles has got progressively better.
It has.
Since knockout phases, which has been pretty good. Like playing against Wales, when those kicks came up, everyone. I mean, I was at Vasco and it was amazing. But everyone was obviously we desperately needed the points, but everyone was a lot calmer. Like he's definitely feeling a little bit more settled in that space, and I'm happy because that's where we need him a lot, and we really need him to work because his passing game is iffy at the moment, and he needs everything in a perfect space. He's got a great pass every now and then, but it's not like Farrell finds his man every time when he passes the ball. So does Ford, so does Tulagi, almost every time. And then you got Slade, who's also going to find his man every time. Where we between our 9 and our 10, we have a few passes that are missing targets. And I'm talking about, you want to get it over here every single time the ball comes. If you look at the execution of the other teams, the ball's coming there every time. The minute we got to check or do anything like that, we break down the whole move. And we can't afford that against England, especially if we were going to be bashing it up at 12 or we're going to be bashing it up in the 12 channel, which we're going to play a lot of. Is we need that ball to be absolutely perfect, because I want my ball carrier running, focusing on the defense, finding out which is make sure we get on his outside shoulder or on his inside shoulder, wherever we're gonna target. But we need to make sure he's looking up. The minute that he's leaning back like this, you lose all momentum, and then you're gonna get gang molested by Murray Toje and Carl Sinclair, are going to hit you under the ribs and drive you back. And the minute that Peter Steph Toy or even Etzebeth or Franco Mostert or Lewitt or Beast is driven back, then all of a sudden they've got their tails up and they're going to be like, we've actually got this. And then we need to now recalculate. And that's my problem. Our back foot ball is not ideal. Very few nines are exceptionally good on back foot ball. Faf is probably one of the worst. Like, I don't think he's the best dealing with that space at the moment. So I think he's just getting into his game again and sorting it out. And we saw it on Saturday. I just think with complete back foot ball, him and Pollard are not ideal, but Pollard's okay.
That's the problem. Like, I think a lot of but that's a problem we've called in Super Rugby as well. A lot of the times our 9s and our 10s are not wonderful on back football, and especially that's why we struggled when we played the New Zealand sides in Super Rugby. We struggle to. Everything else can be going right, but if we're being driven backwards, our teams normally implode, and I think that is an area where we've got to make sure that does not happen. Even if you do go backside, you're not losing huge meters. You rather just go down where you're being hit,
drop dead,
than being taken back 3, 4, 5 yards. And I also think the type of carrying we do, I think it's going to be really important. I mean, Damien's carried well, we know, and Dwayne's carried well, and Peter Steph's carried well. We've just got to carry in the right positions. I think don't carry too upright. Don't get into maul situations and unnecessary. And I think we'll be fine. I think it's going to be a lot of people. Obviously, we've written off already. We're the underdogs because we didn't beat New Zealand to make the final. I see already people are talking about we've had such an easy route to the final because we expected Ireland to lose to Japan and we expected Scotland to lose to Japan, World Rugby, we can call these things from a mile away.
Yeah.
So, it's wonderful. I love it. I love the fact that we are...
I think it's much better going in as an underdog.
I think it's do you know what? I love a Springbok team that's written off.
Yeah.
I've always loved it. I've always loved it.
What I'm going to say now about the Springboks, you can honestly, there's no way you can't say it about England as well, but as a team and as a core, I've not seen us like this in yonks. Like almost since Pete Divvy days and Jake White, Jake White and Divvy and stuff like that, like when our team was together, and we haven't been like this for ages, and we're like this now. We are 100% like this and behind everyone's back, and England are exactly the same. They haven't put a foot wrong. They've been very comfortable in their own skin the whole way, which is scary because they haven't been tested properly yet. Which is quite interesting considering the group they were in. So there was one game off the French game,
and that's a big game.
Key,
to be honest with you,
and the All Blacks and Australia. Hey, so they've had the opportunity and they've come out with flying colours. So I think them together as a team, we need to rattle Faz. Need to rattle Farrell.
They've beaten two Southern Hemisphere sides, so
three.
Their tails are up.
Yeah.
And 3. Forgot about the
if
pool
they
game.
beat us, we can hand them the rugby championship, bro. Like they've won it.
So their tails, they like confidence is sky high. I still feel that France game not being played plays a massive thing in the whole confidence thing, because we all know what a France-England game does. And yes, there's every possibility that England could have walked that French side. Could have happened. But would that French side, even with all the controversy, would they have allowed it? Probably not, because they also, we all know, they do one big World Cup.
Yeah.
It's the, I like to say, they're
Also,
the Pakistan of
them.
They're the Pakistan of rugby.
It also helps by just being a little bit fresher than everyone else.
That's the thing.
Not playing the game.
But they be honest, like that can't even be in the discussion.
Oh no.
When like if they go on to win it, it's they're incredible at the moment. And I think I will say one thing. I do really think where we expected New Zealand to be, like we expected them, they're going to pitch up now. They're going to pitch up now. We've started pitching up, so we're different. But we have got so much. Sia's playing his 50th, which is incredible. Eddie Jones is coaching his 50th for England. Like there's a hell of a lot happening there.
A lot of sub stories.
Beast, I think
that's his,
might retire after this World Cup, but he could be around for next year.
Lions,
Oh, I don't know. Lions
a bit far. Yeah.
But he might be in the squad. But I think like Beast is one.
Dwayne could be interesting.
Dwayne. I hear Dwayne Vermeulen's not going back to the Bulls next year, so he'll stay in Japan. So maybe that'll help him stay on for a couple more years. I think who else? I think Villy maybe. Other than that, we're relatively young. You know, if you think about it, I think a couple of other like Schalk Brits definitely not coming back for another one. I think
He had his last training session today.
he what?
I think he had his last training session today.
Yeah.
They had a whole thing on Supersport, like on
Oh,
Twitter, and
really?
that they made a little clip or whatever. I actually want to get it, whatever.
Francis
And,
Steyn.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going. Like there's a lot of guys and a lot of stories and there's a lot of like sort of.
And it's weird if you
Yeah.
look at the English team as well. Like they're just as young, hey? Like they're not losing too many. I think they're in a similar situation. That side is really not.
Tui Logie, I think, from an injury point of view, I think
Mako,
he might struggle. Mako. I think Elliot Daly might have another season or two left in him. So bearing in mind that these guys are going to play in the Six Nations in February, so we'll probably see a lot of them there, but they might kind of filter a little bit.
That might be the.
I think where they're going to start integrating is going to be from there. But we're obviously only playing in June, July. We'll play in the Rugby Champs. So
Yeah. Well.
no, sorry.
Don't we have an incoming tour
So we'll
before?
yeah. We'll have incoming and then we'll play Rugby Champs.
Yeah.
So we've got a longer wait where the guys are going to play Super Rugby or they're going to make their way.
I think New
to
Zealand's
Europe.
even longer. If I saw that video I shared on the Instagram, poor New Zealand are going absolutely saying they've got to deal with this cloud over their head until May or whatever next year, because that's the next time they play rugby. It's like that is the worst part of it. There's no opponent to play next week, which I guess was like.
Hang on,
Well,
Saturday.
they've got the third or fourth.
They
They
no
play
one-
Friday.
Put it
Yeah,
this way.
no one gives a shit about that.
Geez, like that must be one of the toughest games to
Yeah.
play as a professional rugby
So
So
player.
they've
wooden
named
spoon.
Ryan Crotty at 13.
Oh yeah, he was fit the whole bloody time. Never used him.
Mate,
Nice.
I cannot believe that they didn't play him if he was fit on Saturday. I can't believe it. Like we all know that I'd play him above Sonny Bill Williams and most. There's only one oak I'd play above Ryan Crotty for the All Blacks, and that'd be Ma Nonu because I'm like even a bigger fanboy of him. But I think like obviously that boat has sailed, but I think Ryan Crotty not playing against England, like. You see, he's had some head issues, so maybe they put him in to say for his goodbyes. I don't know, but
But they're losing quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but I know guys have re-signed
Reed,
for next year. Like
SBW,
Whitelock, like what the lock.
Crotty,
Yeah, those are the three, and Ben probably.
Ben Smith, all four of those definitely.
Yeah.
Those are big boys, eh?
Yeah.
And those are difficult boots to fill. So Laumape comes in the midfield, and then Anton Leonard-Brown and Goodhue will work there around as well. But I think if anything, like they're going to carry on with that as an option. But I still think Laumape deserves a little look in because that's line break central. And then 15 they're pretty much covered. I think
They've got enough around.
they've got Barrett there, and then 10's an option. And then at 8 they should be okay.
It's just, it must be one of, honestly, I had to think about it today. Like, imagine getting yourself up for that game. Like, I know you have to play because it's ranking points and it's a medal, and the only reason why that game is being played is because there's
of the
ranking.
medal.
No, because there's ranking points to play for.
Oh yes, yeah.
So they need to have a third and fourth place. So I understand that. But
I
even
don't
and I
think
asked
New
that
Zealand not
same
have a
game.
problem getting up for this, bro.
Same for that. I think of that game. I think this they will. I'm not saying they're gonna not win the game. I'm saying to motivate that dressing room, I think would be huge. To lose such a big game, that England game.
I think they are like, people seem to think that the Aussies are arrogant when they're winning, and like specifically cricket in more recent years, and the Kiwis are arrogant for winning, but those guys have such a strong work ethic. They're like playing for Steve Hansen. They've got a whole bunch of guys that are going.
They'll play
like
for them.
captains.
No, 100%.
To build them up for this game. Like if you looked at the interviews, I read in I can't remember where I read it. It was about TJ Perinara and the interview that he had with a journalist afterwards, and he introduced him, and he was like, "So good to meet you." Like after the game, and he was like, "Listen, I just want to have a chat," and he's like, "So good to meet you." Like we gutted, like it really.
Yeah.
And he said he was sitting there, and he chatted to him, and afterwards he was like, "Listen to the journalist, like thanks for your time, I really appreciate." Like that sort of stuff. Like they're really
They've been good
They
losers,
signed autographs for hours and hours after the game. Like,
they have been really
they're humble.
They've been really good losers.
Yeah.
Like they had made no no excuses. They made zero excuses for Saturdays.
To be fair, England didn't leave any other option.
No, 100%. But
yeah,
you know, like they would have easily have got on the Barrett Kane decision and not playing. Why is Crotty available? You know, they could have easily jumped on a lot of things and it was selections and it was this and that but maybe in the media, I don't know. I haven't really read much of their media, but if I look at players and I even look at ex-players, no real ex-player All Black has come out and questioned this decision and that decision.
They never do though. They never do. I know they've been winning for so long, but they never do that. Like they absolutely. That's the thing is their whole system and everything. Like they all buy into it.
It just doesn't work like that. Yeah.
And
it's the Australians and the English as well. They get nailed when they lose.
Yes, they get abused. And can I tell you, Eddie Jones to take his side to the World Cup final. If you look at how his Six Nations was, and if you look at how last year's Six Nations was, they didn't do too well. They were trying to sack him and everything. For him to bring this side together and take him to the World Cup final, for me that's flipping good. World Cup final can go either way. If they completely bomb out, then then you can maybe have a go at him. But and the same with the Aussies. The Aussies love to to be fair, the English are horrible in the media. Horrible, man.
Yeah, but
the
that's
interviews on TV, I'm
it's
just
in
sitting
all
there going,
sports. But the thing, it's not even just rugby. I mean, we've seen it
no,
so
it's
often
all
in
sports.
football.
Cricket,
It's
everything.
It's even worse. I mean, I would hate to be. That's the one, probably the worst. The one job you probably would not want is to be England manager, football manager.
Not even just the managers, the players.
Yeah,
you have one off day in a big game, or fuck up one little thing, you're dead.
Yeah.
They're
And then-
burning your shirts. They go crazy.
I think the All Blacks would. They're gonna pitch up and they'll beat Wales. They will beat Wales on Friday.
So there's been a lot of changes from both, eh?
They have been, but
Wales are going to be in cuck. They don't have the depth.
I think
They
they
haven't
get.
got the depth there.
I think if I was the All Blacks, and I don't think many and I was watching, and you probably watched the House of Rugby episode when they were talking to the journo. What's her name? I can't remember her name. One of the journos, New Zealand journos. She's like, to be honest with you, it's hurt so much. She doesn't really think much of New Zealand will even wake up for the third and fourth place game. The country's in mourning. No. It's almost like you don't want to play that game, but you want to let the cloud hang over for 2-3 months, and then that first opposition you get, you want to pump them by 100.
Yeah.
Then it's all forgotten.
Oh, you have to. Yeah.
Then it's literally all forgotten.
Yeah.
Then it's back on the domination train. But I think they get the job done on Friday. It's not going to be an issue.
Jump
Should
in.
we wrap it up, or
I want to have,
You wanna have
if
one?
we a couple more minutes. I
Okay.
want to talk about Faf on Saturday. I thought I thought he was definitely 5-10 times better
you
than
mean Sunday?
Sunday. Sorry,
Yeah.
5-10
Sorry,
times
I was
better.
just trying to think. Are you going into the
I missed
future or
that
into the
yesterday.
past?
He definitely played better on Saturday, and I've been riding him hard because I really feel that he can do better, and I think he can offer more. And I think he executed a lot better in a lot more places. He still had a 69% tackle completion rate. So regardless of what our setup is, he often shoots up and then has to recover, and therefore seems to be making good tackles. But he made a couple of very good spot tackles. But I just want to say, we don't win on We didn't win. We would not have won on Sunday
If you didn't pitch
had Faf not pitched up. And we've been waiting the whole tournament for him to come. So he's come. He needs to play again like that on Saturday. And we need Villy to pitch up as well. So, because we can't have passengers this weekend.
Yeah.
And we've, unfortunately, our backline has got 3, and they're not the usual, they are the usual suspects now, but they're not the 3 that everyone loves to hate in the past. So we need everyone to pitch up. If Villy just has a normal game, it's okay.
If he puts
But
50%
gets
of
so
what
much-
he's been giving us, it's already.
He has so much stress about wanting to do that little thing that he wants to do that that's when he forces himself into making an error. So
It's almost every time I watch him, it's like he's thinking ahead too much. So instead of catching the ball, he's already thinking about his flashing move that he's going to do afterwards.
Yeah.
When we all got taught, you get the ball first,
Yeah.
And then
get that out of the
play
way,
the situation in front
and
of him.
then and then you look at what you're going to do.
So I think that's key for us. We have the forwards to do the job. I think from a forward point of view, I really think we're actually in for a 50-50 split in terms of who's going to dominate in all the different facets of the game when it comes to the forwards. I think where England are better than us at the moment is they've got their 9, 10 and 15 are just fine at the moment. And they don't have, their weakness is going to be in their midfield somewhere. Or their absolute strength will be in their midfield somewhere. So I just hope Faf stays, and I've been riding him, and I just he did play much better. But the thing is, he's still passes can still be better. Like they really can. That's what's so bizarre. Like the thing is Rassie talks about what Villy offers and what Faf offers, and when and if they show it on the field. But the thing is, we haven't seen it. So when they offer it, then can they just do it on Saturday?
Yeah. Can you not do it in training only?
Well, that's why I said if there's this one game, Villy has to rock up for his Saturday's game.
He owes us that.
Yeah. No, he does.
It's not a case of, see, I told you, Sharky. He told you he would bring it.
He can do
it.
Like
I think that he's definitely proved the fact that he wasn't quite informed. Yeah. He owes us one on. He owes me one on Saturday.
Literally he can just pitch. He can pitch up on Saturday, win the game for us. Even if it's not win the game for us, just be 60% better. Win the game. We can give him a fucking statue somewhere, and he can ride off into the sunset. We don't have to see him again. Literally, we need him to pitch up one more time. When I say one more time, the first time in the World Cup he needs to pitch up, and one more time in the Springbok jersey he needs to pitch up.
Okay.
Because he's been we've seen this so often from Villy. We've seen series where he's done so well in the jersey, and we've seen series where he's been so.
Do you know that Villy Leroux is still, and all the time he really is up there in terms of try assists?
Yeah.
He still is. That's what's scary. I didn't expect him to be up there with try assists this year, this World Cup, but he's up there. I think he's in the top 5. There's a couple of guys that are on the same numbers. But I just
the problem is it's difficult. You can't always go on just that because you got to do other shit as well.
Oh yeah, you can.
He tries to force it too much. If there's anything I could say to him, I'd just be like, and Rassie would have said it 1,000 times. It's cool, you've got this. Just go and do. Don't do your thing. Just go and do your thing. Do the rugby thing.
Do you?
And when he does that 1 or 2 basics, if he catches the ball, runs, offloads, loops, and finds someone, and we make 10, 15 meters, and he starts penetrating in the outside the 12 channel. I'm telling you, I spoke about this. That's where he needs to play.
Then the confidence also comes back.
100%. If he does it once, if he just can do it once on Saturday, it will be like when you just kick into gear. When something goes your way, and you know, I can just keep going at it, and that's all we need.
Winning's a habit.
We need one little bit of one moment from him, and I think. He'll take that on. He'll jump on. The
stadium will be like, oh! And then he'll be like,
there we go.
You know what Villy's been like I'm going to be a little bit rude. You know what Villy's been like for the last year? He's that very good test batsman that has 5 days to play himself into form.
Yeah.
And he's literally just, I'm going to do this, and then play and miss, nick and drop, and then, I'm going to score my 100. He's gone through all of that. He's done the hard yards and everything. To be fair, he doesn't owe us anything. He owes Rassie. He owes Rassie.
Doesn't owe us anything. He just Rassie and the coaching staff that has probably been cropping, getting all the shit or whatever. You see a photo of him. The funniest thing is, what's the Springbok tweet? What's the Bok tweet on Twitter and that? And you see Twitter, and then you see a picture of Villy, a still picture of Villy. Just go look at the comments.
He does.
It's pure comedy.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's pure comedy.
But
pure comedy.
I'm telling you,
him and Faf has definitely they've been through it this World Cup.
They've been through the ringer, but Rassie's stuck with them. Rassie's had those conversations. Rassie's even what I dig about Rassie.
He addresses them,
and he does them on social media.
Yeah.
And the Beast said it today on their interviews. I saw a whole bunch of quotes from him and stuff like that. And the Beast was he respects Rassie's brutal honesty. So the nice thing is, I have no doubt in my mind that this has been addressed in the squad with the squad, not in the squad for Villy and Faf. I think it's been addressed with the squad, and I think everyone has bought in. They all know what they're aware of, what they're capable of. So I just but if we can if Faf can play 10% better than he did on Saturday.
Vili
And if
50%.
Vili like 40, 50.
50% better, yeah.
And
We'll be okay.
I think we'll be fine.
We'll be okay.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up with predictions. Obviously not an easy one to predict. Firstly, because it's a final. Secondly, like you guys said, we no one's or the Springboks haven't really seen this England side on the field. Are we winning this, boys?
I'm gonna say box by 2.
Yes, you know how nervous
And you know
those
what?
last 10
I
minutes
don't-
are
I
going to
don't
be.
know about
I don't
Oxford
like
and
you
the
cope with it by 2.
I'm gonna throw.
Elliot Daly from
Yeah.
from 60 meters out. Bosh, you're like
No, it's Franz Steyn from 52 out. We've seen very little from Francis Steyn, and you know he's done a good job when he's come on the field. But I think we're going to see.
fine.
I think we're going to see France with a ball and a kicking tee. Yeah.
Listen, if it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen on Saturday. So I don't like betting.
No.
It irks me, and I don't like getting involved, especially when my own team plays. So.
No, me too. But
the longer this week has gone on, and I honestly, like on Saturday when I watched England play, and on Sunday when we played, I was like, you know what? I'm okay to lose to England because they are definitely the form and better side. They've been the best side this whole tournament. Like you can't take that
The
away.
Shark
from
has
them.
already worked out all his excuses and everything.
So what I'm going to say is, the longer this week's gone on, the more I'm
Going
buying.
towards the box.
I'm leaning towards the box because the more I'm thinking about how everything's working in our favor in that little that dog side of it, like, that fight. I think up front is going to be pretty even, and if we get that front foot ball,
so box by how many?
you know, am I drawing this out a little?
Yeah, box by how many?
By 5.
Ooh. That's
Box
a
by
draw. That's
5
an
and a box
unconverted
by
I
draw.
don't want
2.
I just don't want. I want them to have to run from deep to score a try if they want to win the game. I don't want it to be a penalty 60 meters out because Daly's going to be like, I'm
No,
going to have
but
a
we're
go.
going to be the one getting the penalty
wanna
at 60
chase-
meters, and we're going to be pumping it.
When we 2 points ahead to give it the 5, I'll take it.
Awesome, gents.
You know,
Let's see what
What's your
happens.
prediction? Sorry, you can't run out. Well, yeah.
I'll go 2-5 box by 7.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not putting money on that, don't worry.
No, I'm not putting money on it.
so yeah. So listen, where are you watching?
Probably at Kanu in Stellenbosch on the wine for. Actually, no, we'll probably end up either there or maybe Gino's or something. Stellenbosch.
That's actually going to be quite good.
Yeah, Gino's is a vibe. We went there for New Zealand, Ireland, and it was good.
Nice. And you're at a mate's place.
Yeah, we've got the whole football side is
You guys,
All-
yeah,
all
guys are actually
squad-
going to watch a real sport.
all squad of 22.
Nice.
They're all football players now, but they're all rugby
One-
players at school.
One more and you can make a rugby squad and you're sorted. Yeah, I'm actually going to be in Azerbaijan, so
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
quite
weird-
looking forward to that.
That's the club. To the fishing club down.
No,
That's the spot to watch.
I might need to watch it in a room by myself.
Does the house have DSTV at least?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Never know those small towns.
Yeah, no, it's got. But I might need to watch it by myself.
It's safer that way sometimes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Cool. Thanks, gents.
Thank
We'll see you guys on the other side.
That's true, eh? Are we doing this next week?
Yeah. Well,
Regardless,
if someone doesn't steal our equipment, then
Yeah. We'll pack everything up this time.
Regardless.
Regardless, we'll do it next
no,
I
we
think-
have to. Yeah.
Some awards next week.
Yes. We'll pick a team with a tournament and some dicks
Some
of the
awards.
dicks of the
Dick
tournament.
of the day.
Dick of the tournament.
So get some of the listeners and guys to pop us some awards, like
We
Yeah.
can do
the
that.
TFC award, the Thanks for Coming award.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
I mean,
Cool. We can do that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks,
Shots.
guys.
Thank you.
cheers.
Sweet.